Okay, this special meeting of the 22nd, 2025. Reading right, pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, Leroy Faulkner, please call the roll.
Councilmember Felton. Here. Jackson. Here. Moretti.
Here.
Rega. Morris.
Morris?
Here, sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
And why are you virtual?
Yes, I am, and my camera is on
Because?
because I have a conflict this evening. I cannot be there.
Okay, thank you. Here. Let's go on to the next one.
Brian Hayes.
Here.
Robert. Here. Ronnie.
Here. Ryan? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had a backup just in case.
Sarwa.
Yeah.
Rolla.
Here,
And
DePietro.
the reason you're virtual?
have a conflict. I'm out of town today.
President DePietro.
Here.
Warren.
Thank you. Can I get an introduction and second to receive the call of the meeting and place it on file? Dewan and Gary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. So we have two resolutions. The first is in support of a grant application. Can I have an introduction and a second? Dewan and Jennifer. Comments, questions?
So we're asking for 1 million and we have put down 10%.
Which can be in kind.
In what?
In kind.
So like,
What does that mean?
like
That means that we do, if DPW does labor on the project.
Oh, will you? Will they?
Yes,
They said they might.
I'm sorry, I can't,
They said they will.
I don't know, it's,
Yes, hi, I'm the co-chair of Friends of Public Square, which is working with the city on the application. And the way it works is it's a reimbursement grant, so we have to spend the money, or the city has to spend the money, and then it gets reimbursed. So it's not as if we get 1 million and the city has to pay 10% right away. It's a long process, and during that process, DPW will do work on the park, and it will be calculated what that work is worth. And most likely, I mean, there has to be a lot of demolition and all sorts of things that DPW is gonna do, and that should equal $100,000.
DPW's fee will be what the materials and labor.
mostly labor.
They're not charging us anything.
No.
Okay.
Any other
So-
questions?
I have a question. I think that was Catherine who's speaking. I'm not sure.
It starts-
Dorothy.
Sorry? I can't see who was speaking. So the monies for Dorothy, okay, so the monies for this project, are they coming from the state or are they coming from the federal government for the grant application?
All right, I'll explain it. Some years ago, the state passed the Bond Act and they raised money. The money wasn't all spent, and so now Parks is doing this special grant program called NPR. And so it's going to be applied for in May, not the normal annual state grant. And yes, it comes from the state, not the federal government.
Okay, good. And the in-kind, it still will cost us in that we are DPW staff, et cetera, and time. That
That's
will,
always the case.
that- I'm sorry, is that correct, Dorothy?
That is always
Yes,
the case.
DPW you know, many cities give a lot of money to parks, Hudson doesn't give a lot of money to parks, so it's wonderful that they can give money in the form of, work by DPW, work.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So Tom, we would have to bond the $900,000
No,
or?
no, they take care of it all.
We
No.
have to, no, Fox or the city have to put out the money
Right.
to do the work.
You put it-
Then we submit a reimbursement form and the state pays us back. So there's no money that the city's obligated for except for the 10%,
Okay.
and that should be satisfied by in-kind
Oh, okay.
work by DPW.
Okay, so Fox is putting up the money and we repay Fox through
Well,
the,
this, actually, this NPR loan is different from the loan, we got $500,000 a year ago. This is different because only cities can apply for it. And so the city will be applying for this loan. Fox and Star White House will work with the city to put out the money for the work that's being done. And we got a loan from the Columbia County Economic Development. We'd love to get one from HPC, but they're not giving us a loan. And so we find the money from Spark gave us $100,000, you know, DE Barrett and Hinchy have given us a lot of money. And so we have resources to put out the money and then it gets reimbursed by the state.
thank you.
And when do you expect to, if we do get the grant, when do you expect that we can start working?
Okay, so our project is in 2 phases. The first grant we got is for the first phase. This grant is for the second phase. This grant involves the fountain area. But the way we bid it out as one project. And there is a low bidder that's been identified, it hasn't been formally awarded yet. We haven't entered into a contract yet, but work should begin on the park in a few months. And then it will be going on at least for 9 months.
By next year?
Yeah,
So, Dorothy, the 900,000, it's the application is for $1 million, but what will this actually be spent on?
this is for phase 2, which is the fountain area. And so
Okay.
the fountain is not just,
Okay,
this part that's above the ground, it's also a lot of, pipes and there's something called a vault that's a very big deal that's under the ground. And it also involves a stone, plaza around the fountain.
okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Doing all the work, 2 pops.
You can thank Catherine Canega. She's, I founded the organization, but Catherine and her husband Keith are actually doing most of the work right now.
Great. Good to know.
any other hands up there, Logan? No. Okay, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President DiPietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, next resolution is approving the 2025 event grants. Can I have an introduction and second? Go on.
I'll introduce.
Questions? Anyone online? No? No? Okay. Roll call vote. What's that?
No question.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Just want to thank the finance committee. I know it's a tough task to do this, but I think they did a great job. Aye.
You're welcome.
Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President DiPietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay. Can I get an introduction, second to adjourn? Ron and, Dominic. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned.